This is how to farm every single material and currency in Destiny 2 as a solo player. We're going to be covering literally all of the best farms, from Enhancement Cores to Bright Dust to high stat armor and everything else you could possibly want to know about, and we're starting with Glimmer. After the removal of Legendary Shards, this has become one of the single most important currencies in the game. You will need it for practically everything, whether that's bounties, focusing engrams, upgrading weapons and armor, or just buying upgrade materials. Weapon crafting in particular has a very large demand on Glimmer reserves. Thankfully, the Glimmer cap was raised to 500,000, but what are the most optimal ways to actually farm for it? If you're in a situation where you need Glimmer immediately and you don't have time to go do some activities, you do have a few options. First, you can simply go to the Season Pass and claim any available Glimmer from there. Second, if you have any leftover Rainmakers in your inventory tab, you can pop them and they will instantly give you 3,000 Glimmer each. You can't earn these anymore, so once they're gone, but it is a fast and easy option if you still have some remaining. If you have enough time to visit the tower though, Rahul offers a number of exchanges including old planetary materials. You can exchange just 20 materials for 5,000 Glimmer, so if you have thousands of these saved up like some players do, you could potentially be sitting on millions of Glimmer in your vault. You can also exchange some other currencies like Phantasmal Fragments, and these will give you 10,000 Glimmer for every 10 that you turn in. Other items like Dark Fragments and Here Always Pieces can be turned in too, but the exchange rate and rarity of these make them less than ideal. If you have a bit more time and you would prefer to actively farm for Glimmer instead of just converting currencies, you can equip the Bountiful Harvest mod on your Ghost and pair it with the Wombo Detector in order to see the location of planetary materials and chests. You can then head out to any patrol space other than the Pale Heart and start chasing down planetary resources. Normally, these only drop a few hundred Glimmer, but with the Bountiful Harvest mod, you should be getting over 1,000 Glimmer for each one. Chests will award Glimmer as well, but they don't get the benefit of the mod, and they give far less Glimmer overall. It's worth picking these up though as you move throughout the world because they do allow the resource nodes to spawn more quickly. The single best way to farm Glimmer, however, is combining hunting down resources with also completing public events. In this case, you will want to trade out the Wombo Detector for the Ultimate Glimmer Booster, which boosts Glimmer gains by 65%, and then just head out and try to complete as many heroic public events as possible. The EDZ is a great place to go since there are many zones, and usually there is at least one public event going on at all times. You can earn as much as 12,500 Glimmer for each completed heroic event. This is about 3 times more than a normal one, so it's definitely worth the slight added time and effort to make them heroic. It also might be worth checking Xur, who appears in the tower right here, Friday through Monday. Each week, Xur has a few different offerings here of materials, including Glimmer. The exchange rates can vary, and this can only be done once per week, so I would only recommend doing this if you have all of your exotics and his other items don't provide much value to you. Bright Dust is an extremely limited currency that is earnable in-game, and it allows you to purchase from a collection of cosmetic items in the Eververse store. The easiest way to earn Bright Dust is by completing certain seasonal challenges while also increasing your Season Pass rank. You can click here to open your seasonal challenge page, and then you can hover over the different objectives to see which ones award Bright Dust. At the very end, if you have completed enough of the seasonal challenges, the final reward will give you a very large pile of Bright Dust. The season rank up passes can also give you a decent amount of this currency. Each act has a few thousand available, giving you a solid 11,000 per episode. You also have a small chance of receiving Bright Dust by turning in Bright Engrams, which are earnable through your seasonal ranks, but this is rare and not really worth target farming. The only other way to repeatedly farm for Bright Dust is by resetting your Ritual Pathfinder. Your first 10 weekly resets will give you 150 Bright Dust in addition to its normal rewards. After that, it drops to a measly 30 Bright Dust, but I don't really see many players having that many resets in a given week. The methods that we mentioned earlier are definitely the most efficient, so be sure to prioritize those before shifting any of your focus to Pathfinder. Exotic Ciphers have been reworked and are now quite an important currency for all types of players. They can be used to both unlock and focus new exotics, and also to upgrade exotic armor to Artifice status. This allows you to have a nice little stat bonus in your chosen category to make your best exotics even better. You can only earn 3 ciphers by ranking up your season pass with each episode though, 1 for each of the 3 acts. You can also earn 1 per week by completing the Xenology quest from Xur. This quest is very time consuming, and while you can speed it up by playing with clanmates or doing higher difficulty activities, even completing one of these a week is rare for many players. Outside of those methods, the only real way of farming these is by resetting your rank ups at Xur and Rahul in the tower. Part of me wonders if Bungie will someday make these a little bit easier and more common to get, because in theory, it could take a new player quite a while to unlock every single exotic with these being so limited. Strange coins were updated in the final shape to operate much like they did back in Destiny 1. While no longer earnable in Dares of Eternity, these can now be exchanged for a wide range of items at Xur in the tower. Strange coins are now just automatically awarded at the end of ritual activities. Although it can be a bit counterintuitive when you first hear it, the best way to earn this currency is actually by spending it. If you spend 47 strange coins with Xur, you can then join the loyalty program of the 9. This buff gives you a chance to earn an additional strange coin every time that you would earn one, substantially increasing the rate at which you can farm for this currency. This buff lasts for 11 days, and it can stack up to 3 times. Therefore, with that in mind, you should make sure to spend at least 47 strange coins with Xur every week to activate the loyalty program, and therefore earn the maximum possible amount of strange coins. Silver is a currency that can be used to buy fancy cosmetics like ornaments and vehicles, and it can also be used for actual in-game content like buying episodes. This currency can only be bought with real money, but luckily for you, we're going to be giving away 10,000 silver when we reach 100k subs on this channel, so subscribe now to be entered automatically. Spoils of Conquest are used for either unlocking exotics from the Monument to Lost Light, or for buying additional weapons and armor from the final chest at the end of most raids. They can be used for enhancing Adept raid weapons as well. There are a few different ways you can earn these, and even though they are sourced from raids, it is actually very easy to get them solo. Hidden raid chests will award spoils for the first time they are opened each week for each character. If you're not a big raider, there are a number of good guides on how to access all of these chests without a fire team, and I believe you can get about 75 spoils per week using this method. Once your clan has achieved rank 4 for the episode, this also lets you earn spoils from the completion of all raid challenges on whatever the featured raid is that week. If you're open to forming a group, the single most obvious and repeatable way to farm spoils is by doing the Salvation's Edge more than once a week on a single character. Repeat clears do not drop raid loot, but each encounter will award 5 spoils of Conquest. Sometimes groups will form and just run the same encounter over and over, but otherwise just running the entire raid can also be a nice way to get some additional spoils. Raid banners can be obtained from Petrovenge in the Dreaming City, and occasionally from Xur, but the best place to get these is from Hawthorne in the tower. You can't really farm for raid banners per se, but the indirect farm is of course getting Glimmer and then spending that on banners. Additionally, you can get a nice 20% discount on banners by unlocking Clan Rank 2. This drops the cost of banners from 50,000 Glimmer for 10 banners down to only 40,000. There are a few other ways of getting banners, including the 10 from each act in the Season Pass, but if you are consistently raiding, you will probably find yourself consistently buying banners from Hawthorne. While you certainly could buy Synthweave templates from the Eververse store, I would highly recommend making sure that you complete the armor synthesis bounties from 8 to 1 in the tower before you even think of spending real money on any transmog materials. With each episode, you can complete up to 10 bounties per character, and each bounty will award materials that can then be converted into each class's specific transmog currency. These bounties don't expire, and they can sometimes take a while to do, so I just recommend that you pick them up and have them passively complete in the background while you naturally play the game. The nice thing about these is that you can choose bounties that are for your favorite activities, whether that's Vanguard stuff, Crucible, Gambit, World Destinations, or raids and dungeons. There are also 2 Synthweave templates available as a part of the Season Pass rank ups, so be sure to grab those when you reach the appropriate ranks. Upgrade modules are an essential resource used for infusion on your weapons and armor. They can be earned by leveling up the Season Pass, and you'll also notice that they're rewarded from many vendors as you increase your rank with them. If you have the resources though and want to simply buy some modules, you can just go to 8 to 1 or the Gunsmith and purchase them for 5,000 Glimmer and an Enhancement Core. If you want to actively farm for modules in an activity, however, running the legendary campaigns can be a fantastic way to earn a lot of modules in a relatively short amount of time. The Witch Queen, Lightfall, and Final Shape will all grant you upgrade modules throughout the different encounters in the campaigns. This only works on the legendary difficulty though, and only for your first run through of each character. Another way that you can target farm these in-game is by using the Modularity Ghost mod. With this equipped, you can earn upgrade modules for completing strikes and also for winning Crucible and Gambit matches. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but if you have an overabundance of Bright Dust, you can also buy the concentrated Matter Gems from the Eververse store. These cause bosses to drop upgrade modules when defeated. Enhancement Cores are a very important resource that can be used for upgrading your weapons and armor, and they can be earned through a variety of different methods. First, if you happen to have any of these things called Finest Matter Weave, you can just sit there for a while and open them all up. Each one will grant a single enhancement core immediately. Once those are gone, however, there are a variety of activities that can drop enhancement cores, and therefore there are a couple of different farms to mention. For example, stuff like the Dreaming City's Blind Well and the latest seasonal activities have a chance of dropping cores. A great source of enhancement cores is actually unwanted weapons and armor that you can specifically farm for. Activities such as Arena Breach Executable on Expert Mode or the Onslaught activity can drop a lot of rewards. I'm not just talking about materials here though, I'm also talking about the actual weapons and armor themselves. If you break down any unwanted legendaries that drop at level 5 or higher, they will reward at least one enhancement core and some Glimmer every single time. So therefore you can kind of just farm these activities to get materials and gear, and then dismantle the gear to get even more cores. To top it all off, doing all of this dismantling also gives you the added benefit of increasing your rep with Banshee. Speaking of the Gunsmith, you can guarantee yourself at least 4 enhancement cores per character per day by completing his daily bounties. These are very simple tasks that include getting final blows with various weapon types, and therefore they can be done very easily while completing other activities. You can also receive quite a few enhancement cores over time by ranking up various vendors and doing your seasonal pass. Rahul does let you convert a Prism and 2,500 Glimmer into 5 cores, but you can only do this 3 times per week. Xur sometimes offers limited exchanges for enhancement cores as well. Enhancement Prisms are the fancier version of enhancement cores, and they are used to progress to the higher levels of your weapons and armor. You can claim these as rank up rewards, with most vendors offering at least one, as you can see here. Rahul in particular loves to award a bunch of these, but you can also buy them here for 10 enhancement cores and 10,000 Glimmer. You will, however, get a discount on your first 3 purchases each week. As far as activities go, the higher difficulty stuff tends to be the most optimal for farming these. You can earn prisms from match-made expert level activities such as a Breach Executable, but you will get higher drop rates from Master and Grandmaster content. This also has the added bonus of progressing your Ritual Pathfinder, which offers 1 prism for each of your first 7 resets each week. Ascendant Shards, affectionately called golf balls by the community, are the ultimate upgrade material for armor, allowing you to complete the masterwork and unlock the associated stat boost. Legendary armor only requires 1 golf ball, but exotics require 3, and therefore you can burn through them quite quickly when upgrading. Rahul also charges 2 of them if you want to do some focused armor decoding without spending an even rarer exotic cipher. Thankfully though, unlike ciphers, these are a resource that you can actually properly farm for, and your best bet is probably to go for Grandmaster Nightfalls on a double loot week until you get up to the cap of 30. Although that might be the most optimal way, there are some other solo and much easier activities that you can also do to get your hands on golf balls. There are a few available as Season Pass rank up rewards, and most vendors will award one the first time you reset their rank. Occasionally Xur will sell one for strange coins, but otherwise Rahul will sell you up to 3 per week as one of his special orders. This will, however, cost you 10 enhancement prisms and 10,000 Glimmer for each one. After that, the Glimmer cost goes all the way up to 50,000, so I would definitely try to avoid that if at all possible. There are also a few other ways worth mentioning, such as Grandmaster Excision or the cooperative Final Shape campaign missions. These can be selected right here, and they offer an increased difficulty as well as additional mechanics, and you can technically do them solo. If you're into PvP and capable of reaching the Lighthouse, Trials of Osiris is a great source whether you're solo or as a team. As a very important additional note though, you can actually just farm these from basic wins in Trials even if you are on a flawed card. Ascendant Alloys are basically the weapon crafting equivalent of Ascendant Shards. There are a few ways to earn these, and while you can buy them from Rahul, the cost is the same amount as Ascendant Shards, and therefore they aren't really worth it. Some vendors such as Gunsmith and Xur do offer them as rank rewards, and the Seasonal Pass has these too. As far as activities go, you can earn them as a common drop from the Master Difficulty Witch Queen and Lightfall weekly story missions. You have a chance to see them drop from the seasonal activity Breach executable on Expert difficulty, as well as high-level completions of Legend Onslaught. If you're in an active clan that has reached rank 6, you're also guaranteed to get one from Hawthorne after all clan challenges have been completed for that week. With Rahul's modern focusing system, exotic engrams are in high demand in order to farm exotic armor. The cool thing is that these can just drop randomly from anything, including red bar enemies and just opening chests. Thankfully, there are a handful of deterministic ways to get these as well. While most vendors offer Ascendant Shards on the first reset, they will usually award exotic engrams on any additional resets afterward. So for example, if you really take advantage of a double rep week in your favorite ritual activity, you can easily reset it multiple times in just a few hours of gameplay. However, hands down, the absolute easiest way to earn exotic engrams is just by playing ritual activities every week. For every 3 activity completions, you will earn 1 exotic engram, and you can earn 3 of these each week for each character. You can also get another one each week for completing your first clan bounty once your clan has reached season rank 3. Legend and Master Lost sectors also now have a chance to drop exotic engrams, with each of them being a common drop when doing Master difficulty while solo. Lastly, you can also get exotic engrams from the Season Pass. A great way to farm for specific exotic armor pieces is to focus your exotic engrams in the tower, but this can be a kind of expensive process if you don't have a lot of resources like prisms, Ascendant Shards, and exotic ciphers. If you're a relatively new player, there are a couple of other good ways to get new exotics that you haven't earned yet. I would definitely be sure to check out Zur each week to see if any of the exotics he is selling are interesting to you. Additionally, on Neomuna, there is occasionally a special event that will spawn called the Vex Strike Force, and while it can be a little bit challenging, it is guaranteed to award a piece of exotic armor that you do not have on every completion. This functions on a knockout basis, so you will get a new piece of exotic armor every time until you have unlocked them all. Although the Dual Destiny mission is a guaranteed way to get an exotic class item every run, you can also farm them solo and quite efficiently using the following chest route. You'll want to equip the Wombo detector on your ghost, spawn into the landing, and then wait for a bright flash to appear on your screen. Then, simply proceed forward along the route you can see here and stop whenever your ghost detects a nearby chest. Be sure to also count the number of chests that you're picking up because there will only be 5 in this area, and therefore once you've found all 5, you'll know that it's time to stop looking for more of them. Your goal should be to essentially make a big loop around the entire landing area like you can see in the background gameplay, and you may also need to check this center area if you don't have all 5 chests. Once you've looted all 5, simply pull out your ghost and travel back to the landing area once more. You'll need to wait for the flash of light before you begin your next run, and then just rinse and repeat that until you acquire your perfectly rolled class item. This method will give you approximately 4 drops per hour, but keep in mind it can vary considerably given the nature of the random drops. I covered this strategy in a little bit more detail over on my 3rd channel, so I'll link that video in the description in case anyone wants to check it out. Many exotics have catalysts that greatly augment or simply improve their performance, and you may be wondering how to optimally obtain these catalysts from all of your exotics. Some catalysts are random drops from completing activities, while others are awarded from quests or even season pass rank ups. Under your collections tab, there is a section that tracks your patterns and catalysts, and it will show you all of your catalysts and how to earn them. For example, the Buried Bloodline catalyst is earned from solving a puzzle within the Warlord's Ruin dungeon. One thing I would highly recommend is checking in with Zur to see which catalysts he has every week. He will sell 2 catalysts from a limited pool, and this can be an insanely easy way to get any catalysts that you might not have yet. Don't expect to find any that are awarded from the quests, but it is a nice way to get the ones that are randomly awarded from other sources. Many Guardians think that if they want to get the best armor rolls, they should go farm for Artifice armor from either Master Dungeons or the competitive playlist. This is because Artifice armor gives you a free +3 stat bonus to any stat of your choice. There was certainly a time when Artifice armor was more important, but unfortunately, ever since Lightfall released, Artifice armor has almost never been dropping with good stats anymore. Although you'll definitely want an Artifice class item, the best modern way to get high stat armor for your other slots will actually be through the focusing system. It is surprisingly easy to just go focus high stat armor like this from the episode vendors. The only thing you'll need to do is progress to like the 2nd week of the story in order to unlock the focusing, but yeah, it's insanely free once you've done that, and literally anyone can do this to get the best armor rolls in the game. The engrams being consumed here will drop from nearly every activity, and it's not unusual for an active player to even cap out on the maximum of 99 engrams very quickly. If you're like most Guardians and you're prioritizing resilience, recovery, and discipline, I would equip the Discipline Armor mod on your Ghost, and then simply buy an assortment of pieces for every slot. Outside of this farming method, on the rare chance that the Pit of Heresy is the featured dungeon for the week, you can farm checkpoints of the final boss. Feel free to join my Discord if you need a checkpoint. The final boss is guaranteed to drop a high stat armor piece with a spiky distribution, so this is an incredibly good farm. However, the only downside is that this only works when the dungeon is on rotation, so you won't be able to do this every week. Guys, I am going to be honest. The amount of people that I see using awful Destiny 2 settings is depressing. So do yourself a favor and check out this video covering 20 Destiny 2 settings that you need to turn off immediately. And also, it would be great if you subscribed. Remember, I'm giving free silver to random subscribers, so you might as well do it.